Alright, by show of hands, who all would like to detonate 10,000 nuclear bombs on Florida right now? Okay, I see some hands, alright. Well, while we as humans can't do this, Mother Nature has no problem exerting this much energy on coastal regions time and time again. While imagining the power of 10,000 nuclear bombs might seem a little extreme, it's the reality for regions affected by hurricanes every year. Ever since I can remember, I had an interest in rains and storms. This interest was re-sparked by recent hurricanes coming out of the Atlantic Ocean. Knowing more about these storms can be helpful, knowing characteristics that define them, knowing what conditions are needed for them to form, and how they evolve. First, let's talk about what makes a hurricane a hurricane. Hurricanes are significant weather phenomena that impact coastal areas. According to the NOAA, a hurricane is a kind of tropical cyclone with specific characteristics, including max wind speeds of 74 miles per hour, heavy thunderstorm activity within the storms, as well as circular motion of storm winds counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. Lastly, the eye of the storm is in the middle clear center. It is surrounded by the eye wall where the wind is the strongest. Now that we can identify a hurricane, let's look at what's needed for hurricanes to form. Hurricanes can't just form anywhere. Their development relies on the right environmental conditions. According to National Geographic, first, a warm ocean water to help form a dip in air pressure to help the storm begin to form. Second, humid air to lock moisture and energy in the storm. Third, we need low vertical shear. It makes it so that winds at high altitudes stay slow and maintain its power. Fourth, low air pressure to help warm air rise. Rising air begins to spiral and grows it into the start of a hurricane. Last, it all needs to come together with a pre-existing disturbance, but all of these need to come together just perfectly to even have a chance at a hurricane. Like Brian Tang, an astrophysics scientist at the University of Albany, everything just needs to align. So now that we have our ingredients, let's look at how they evolve. Hurricanes don't just start as these huge, powerful storms. They grow in category and go through 4 distinct stages. First stage is the ingredients that we just talked about, and together they are all called a tropical disturbance. Tropical disturbances slowly begin to form into a tropical depression. It's weak at this stage, but it makes its way over warm water and has potential to become great. As it makes its way over warm water, it pulls energy and begins to grow more. As it keeps growing by pulling power from the warm water, it reaches winds of 39 miles per hour, and it reaches its third stage, becoming a tropical cyclone. As it keeps moving, it pulls more and more energy from the ocean and releases latent heat of condensation, allowing it to keep growing. To help visualize this, I have 2 diagrams for you guys. This is what the start of a hurricane might look like with 2 storms and warm, humid air at the bottom. As you can see, these arrows show how it pulls it up into the storm and pushes this cold, unstable air down. Slowly, it turns into this. As you can see, the storm is opened up, creating that eye at the storm that we talked about, and more air is being pulled up in these smaller storms on the outsides and on the outside, and the bigger one in the middle. And as it circulates, it pushes more cold air down too. It finally reaches its final stage and becomes a hurricane. It does by pulling more warm water like I just showed you. This is why also we see that once hurricanes reach land, they slowly begin to die down as they have no power to pull. Now that we know exactly what a hurricane is and what is needed for them to form and how they evolve, let's summarize. In summary, hurricanes are massive storms characterized by thunderstorm activity, intense winds, and circular motion. We have explored specific conditions needed for their formation, such as warm water, humid air, and low vertical shear. We also discussed how they evolve into fully formed storms from small disturbances gain strength over warm water. Ultimately, hurricanes serve as a reminder of the power that Mother Nature holds and how perfectly it can orchestrate it to display it. Thank you guys.